Mr. Speaker, the Chancellor claimed that her budget was a once-in-a-Parliament reset. So why are we having an emergency budget next week? Speaker, he knows why we're having an emergency budget, because since the last one, since the Chancellor delivered her budget in October, growth is down, borrowing is up, and she has destroyed business confidence.
Mr. Speaker, we have delivered record investment into this country. Had 3 interest rates cut in a row, and wages are going up faster than prices, which is a massive cost of living boost. Massive 22 million black hole in the economy. They crashed the economy. We're rebuilding Britain.
The British economy is in freefall, public services are collapsing, and £22 billion meant for schools, hospitals and infrastructure has simply vanished. In the midst of this unprecedented crisis, the Chief Justice delivers a verdict that confirms what millions already suspected. This government has been built on sand. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll break down exactly what this ruling means for Starmer's political future, why King Charles is reportedly stunned by these developments, and most importantly, what this means for you, your family, and your financial security in the months ahead.
It's a constitutional mistake. I'd like to thank Tom for his passionate defence of our constitution. It's quite important that people know how it is, how it's different from other constitutions, and how it works. Parliament is supreme. It's really quite a mistake for the Lady Chief Justice to have done this. I call this Versailles thinking. There seems to be an air of going around that certain elite people are above or beyond criticism, can do all sorts of extraordinary things. It could pass an act specifically overturning this case if it wanted to. It can pass an act sacking judges if it wants to.
The full story is far worse than the headlines suggest. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. The Chief Justice's decision has rocked Westminster to its foundation and cast a fog of doubt over Starmer's government. This is more than simply a court ruling. It's the breakdown of a system of justice that Starmer helped establish, and that has since been proven to be incredibly unjust. At the centre of this controversy is the pre-sentencing report system, which Starmer has always supported. These ostensibly impartial assessments automatically include gender, race and other individual circumstances when determining penalties. On paper, this approach appeared sensible and progressive. Its application has produced a more unsettling outcome, a two-tiered judicial system where the severity of punishment is determined by one's identification. The mechanics of this system are really cunning. When sentencing defendants, these studies regularly employ various variables based on demographics. The consequences are now undeniable. White British men are consistently punished more severely than other groups for the identical offences. The unpleasant truth, rather than political bluster or speculation.
Does the Prime Minister now regret raising taxes on business?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the OBR will present their numbers. There'll be a spring statement next week.
Speaker, the only black hole is the one that he is digging. He's shown absolutely no regret, but everybody knows the Chancellor has made a mistake. That is why they're having an emergency budget.
She still hasn't. We've got record investment into this country. Interest rates have been cut, and she talks about national insurance. We had to fill the 22 billion black hole that lay there.
Has surfaced from the shadows of the Chief Justice's ruling. It is particularly noticeable because this approach contradicts the fundamental tenet of all functioning democracies, which is equality before the law. A long-standing tenet of British law is that justice should be fair and that your past should not determine how you are punished. Under Starmer, the exact opposite principle has been formalised. The court documents paint a concerning picture. Case after case shows that the pre-sentencing process yields wildly disparate outcomes for similar offences. There is a definite trend. Whereas some groups consistently earn shorter sentences, white British people are disproportionately punished. It is far more concerning that British citizens are occasionally subjected to harsher punishments for the same offences than immigrants. As more people become aware of these disparities, both ordinary citizens and legal professionals are starting to question the fairness of a system that seems to be skewed. When politicians ignored the mounting public outcry brought on by community forums and public conversations that included testimonies from families affected by these sentencing disparities.
Later today, Conservatives will vote to exempt hospices, pharmacies and care providers from her national insurance rise. Will he, at the very least, support exempting these vulnerable services from his jobs tax?
But I understand the Leader of the Opposition is straight talking, so perhaps she can help us with this. Is she going to reverse the next increase? If not, what's the point? She didn't say they're going to reverse the national insurance rises. It's exactly what she wants all the benefits, but they can't say how they're going to pay them.
They put themselves in peril. The Chief Justice's ruling gets right to the heart of the issue. In a horribly thorough analysis, the ruling calls into doubt the legitimacy of this legal system. The decision demonstrates how the current system is unjust and infringes upon every citizen's entitlement to equal treatment by referencing equality principles found in the British Constitution. Perhaps the most distressing thing for Starmer is that this choice goes against his public persona. This man has earned a great deal of respect for his honesty and fairness, and his credibility is based on his unrelenting dedication to justice for all. But while some groups have continuously benefited under his leadership, others have systematically suffered. According to the verdict, Starmer has openly promised to advance equality, but this approach has resulted in a situation where white men will be treated more harshly. There are serious political repercussions. There is now concrete evidence that certain voters are the victims of institutionalized discrimination within the legal system. Apart from the evident legal ramifications, this is a grave breach of the public's trust in the government. How can a leader oversee a system that determines a person's validity based on their demographics rather than their behaviour? What makes the Chief Justice's decision so upsetting is its obvious conclusion. The current sentencing guidelines violate the equality protections outlined in British law. This is not a minor administrative or technical infraction. Rather, it is a grave charge against a system that has betrayed its core principles. As a former prosecutor now in the public eye for overseeing this system, Starmer has suffered irreversible personal and political damage. Regardless of party affiliation, accountability has been a rallying cry for Britons. The decision has highlighted Starmer's flaws and left his leadership in a perilous position. Even King Charles was reportedly shocked to learn the details of the decision. He understood the constitutional seriousness of a legal system that treats people differently based on their past. The awful decision couldn't have come at a worse moment, considering how unsteady Starmer's leadership appears to be. Even his staunchest Labour supporters are openly betraying him, and his popularity has fallen. This judicial crisis reveals the fundamental contradiction in his governance as a former director of public prosecutions, who now oversees a system that runs counter to the principles he claimed to support. In addition to mounting economic strains, the British public is closely monitoring the development of this legal dispute. Starmer's chances of surviving this storm are still uncertain. For a man whose foundation was justice and fairness, having his political identity completely destroyed may make survival all but impossible.